I'll be looking at some of the exchanges this afternoon between Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer, which were quite entertaining, actually. It's getting quite lively between the two of them. I dare say those attack ads that Labour have been putting out have put Rishi Sunak in fighting mood. Let's talk to Trevor Kavanaugh, now political columnist at The Sun, see what he made of it. Trevor, very good afternoon to you.
Hi, Mike.
That was quite a lively exchange, I thought, and certainly the one law for him and big higher taxes for everybody else was a pretty good line to finish him off with, wasn't it?
It was indeed. It was live theatre, wasn't it? It's one of the best shows in town these days.
Yeah.
And I think that actually Rishi had lined his ducks up in a row before he actually set foot in there.
Yeah.
He had a whole catalogue of things which have been rehearsed not just by the Conservative Party, but in the right of centre press over the last week or two since these attack ads were launched by Keir Starmer. But to call him Sir Softy and Mr. Lefty Lawyer, and then to open up this pension thing, which was, I think it's a number of very soft points, soft targets in Keir Starmer's armoury.
Well, they really are, aren't they? Because the trouble with Keir Starmer, as more and more of his sort of past becomes clear, is that he doesn't seem to have stuck with any one conviction, and I use that word advisedly, very long. Everything that he wanted to do, he seems to now not want to do, and everything he said he wouldn't do, he now says he will.
Absolutely, and I think that right from the very beginning, Keir Starmer's been far more left of centre than he would want that to be seen today. I mean, his support for Jeremy Corbyn, when Jeremy Corbyn was a contender for the Prime Ministership, was very genuine. There was no doubt about it. Everybody else who had doubts left the shadow cabinet. Keir Starmer stuck with him. And I think that these sort of trademark qualities of Keir Starmer are beginning to emerge to his embarrassment. He was very awkward today in Prime Minister's questions and did not have the answers that you'd expect from a sharp-witted leader of the opposition.
Well, this is the thing, and several people have pointed out to me, and he's done this several times before when he has a go at the government for their law and order crisis. And I mean, there's no doubt, but there's no point in pretending that the justice system in this country does seem to be not working as well as it should. But the trouble is, he continues to do things like describing all those people who are accused of rape as rapists. And I mean, given that he was the DPP, he should know that you can't actually accuse people and call people rapists if they haven't been convicted of it.
No, I think that he's on extremely weak ground when he keeps citing, incessantly in fact, his record as Director of Public Prosecution. I've prosecuted thousands of criminals. Well, of course, that's the job of the DPP. But he hasn't, in many cases, prosecuted the people that the public would like to see prosecuted, like, for instance, those grooming gangs that Rishi referred to. And so, yes, he is very vulnerable on this. And the other thing that I noticed whenever this clash takes place is that every word that Keir Starmer utters is scripted and written down and laboriously read out.
Yeah.
Rishi, by contrast, is very nimble, very articulate, and able to demolish them as they fly off the wall.
Yes, and Keir Starmer looked rather like the guy that sort of walked halfway up the hill to deliver the winning victory punch, and then suddenly went, oh God, and staggered back down the other without reaching to the top.
That's right. There's no doubt whatsoever that Rishi Sunak is winning these weekly battles. And you can tell by the sort of triumphant cheering from the backbenchers that it's having a very big effect on morale, which is the whole point of these clashes. William Hague once explained to me, when I said, why do we have to have this uproar every week? He said, well, if we didn't, the backbenchers would be very unhappy. They want to see the Prime Minister or the leader of the party winning the battle against the opposition. And right now, that's what Rishi Sunak is doing.
Yeah, and as if that wasn't enough for him, he sort of whetted his appetite for Stephen Flynn from the SNP, who, I must admit, had a bit of gall to even stand up in Parliament. And I rather liked the line about, we're just motoring on with it here at the Conservative Party.
I know. I mean, look, it would take a heart of stone not to laugh yourself sick over the way that the SNP is falling apart in what seems to me, at any rate, richly deserved self-inflicted wounds.
Yes. Well, I mean, the Times yesterday reporting that it's very likely, certainly the SNP believes, that Nicola Sturgeon will be arrested in the coming days. I mean, it may well be that there's no reason to charge him with anything, but just the fact alone that she might be arrested is an extraordinary kind of situation.
It is, and I suspect that her husband might be arrested again. We will see more from the treasurer of the SNP, who was arrested and then discharged. But this is a big ongoing case. There's a lot of money which has gone missing. And I doubt at this stage that the Scottish police are going to let go until they see one or other of them in the dock.
Yes, I think that's very true. So would we put it down to a pretty much a win for Rishi Sunak today, I think?
I think 3-0, maybe 4-0.
Absolutely right. Yeah, he's turning into Arsenal, isn't he? He gets to the end of the game and gives up the final point and then ends up losing the league. We shall see. Fascinating times. Trevor Kavanaugh, thank you very much indeed. Political columnist at The Sun, of course.